HCAM TV thanks you for watching this presentation. We'd love for you to become a member and use your creativity at our station. Please visit hinghammedia.org or call us at 781-836-5094 if you would like to learn more.
Hingham, a town of great history, heritage, and heart. Coming up on today's episode of Hingham Happenings. A nutritionist discusses dieting at the Hingham Public Library. Music, exercise, and medicine gather at Wampatuck for a great cause. A memorial bench for a well-respected board member of HCAM and the library. The Hingham Recreation Department opens a new playground to the public. Kids learn the dangers of texting and driving when the Distractology tour rolls into town. All this and more coming up on Hingham Happenings. Hello, and welcome to our January episode of Hingham Happenings. I'm your host, Katherine Collins. We start our show today with a stop by the library, where a professional nutritionist from Dana-Farber spoke on chronic disease prevention through proper dieting. It was an interactive program that opened up various discussions on good nutrition, weight loss, and explored cancer research straight from the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, a world leader in adult and pediatric cancer research.
So tonight we're talking about a presentation that has been put together by Dana-Farber main campus. We use it at the satellites as well. It's called Fighting Cancer with Your Fork. It's an interactive discussion about nutrition and how nutrition can have a role in cancer survivorship and prevention. A lot of times after people are done with cancer treatment or because of the prevalence of cancer in our community, people will ask what can be done to prevent cancer. And one of the things that we can say with certainty is that by changing your diet or eating in a specific manner can impact that. And the likelihood of getting cancer, especially glandular cancers, and therefore because of nutrition research, and at the Farber we practice evidence-based nutrition, meaning in people, not in test tubes. So this is the kind of presentation that through the interest and questions that we receive during our consults, as well as people visiting the center, we're able to put this type of a talk together for the community. It kind of makes people feel empowered and makes them feel like they have something to talk about and do in their lives to take a proactive stance on health. I like to take questions as we go so that I can cater to the interests and needs of the audience. So usually people talk and then we'll take questions, but by hearing what people's concerns and questions, it helps to lead and direct the talk. The talk could be as long as, I could talk for 3 hours on this, or I can shorten the slide-based talk and talk more about what people have as questions that pertain to their lifestyle. People always come to us and ask us for that kind of magic item. And really what it is a combination of fruits and vegetables that are bright in color, and then at the same time elimination of a lot of processed foods. A lot of it seems like common sense, but oftentimes in today's world and the way we eat reflects our busy lifestyles. So with a few changes we are able to make those positive changes and kind of take back what we knew and what previous generations did naturally. Chronic diseases in general, such as obesity, diabetes, and cancer, are all fall into the same arena as the types of foods that we're going to talk about in this talk. So a lot of the things that are prevalent in a developed society and developed countries are the ones that respond best to good nutrition. Eating what we would call the balanced plate, which is a representation of all food groups, no elimination of food groups, no elimination of wheat products or dairy, except in the cases of allergies, known, documented, medically tested allergies, not perceived. Lots of color and texture, that includes fiber, raw as well as lightly cooked fruits and vegetables. If you were 6 years old, I would tell you to put a rainbow on your plate and make your plate as colorful as possible. So that's what good nutrition looks like to me. A logical, practical approach, that no fancy diets or supplements are needed. I think it creates an awareness that we have a very highly internationally recognized cancer center right in their backyard. I've done this talk in Middleborough. I've done this talk in Quincy, Weymouth, all communities that are closer to the satellite than they would be to travel into town. And all of the services that we provide are exactly the same as you would get if you traveled to the main campus. So in my mind, it creates an awareness that it's really just down the street, and you can get world-class cancer care, you know, right nearby. In the 6 years that I've been there, I've spoken on numerous occasions with top researchers, especially in the GI arena. We have all new targeted therapies, and we're able to really cater the treatment to the specific cell types. And I also think we are learning more and more about nutrition, which is very slow because it's very hard to test nutrition because you have to isolate a nutrient, and none of us are isolated containers. We do a lot of community outreach. We do a lot of hands-on. We do a lot of talks in the community. I do this talk. I do a talk, cater this specifically to breast cancer in the breast cancer support group that we have once a month at the Farber. I do another talk called Eating to Feel Your Best During Cancer Treatment. So in general, Dana-Farber does an excellent job at reaching out to the community and throughout the line of cancer care, because we have surgical oncology, medical oncology, and radiation oncology all in one building. So we have different talks that are all pertain to helping patients through those difficult times.
What great information. You know, speaking of health and healthy causes, Tufts Medical held its Country Heals event at Wampatuck State Park to raise money for Tufts patients. The event was a blend of country music and good exercise. Participants could go on a 5 or 3 mile run, you were allowed to walk, to honor the efforts being made at Tufts. The event was also sponsored by country radio station WKLB, who made a special appearance.
So this event is Country Heals, mainly with our partnership with WKLB. We rebranded it when we moved here to Hingham to have a country feel, having the local country artists on the stage, as well as bringing in national acts to do the headliner within the hospital. They bring country artists to the hospital to do what we call healing tours. We'll visit patient rooms to sing to the patients and sort of lift their spirits. So tying into that, this event became Country Heals.
Tufts Medical Center and the Floating Hospital for Children are located in downtown Boston and are a full-service academic medical center providing some of the most complex care in the most compassionate way. And we're very pleased about the work that we do every day for our patients and families. This is a very nice big space for us to bring our 1,000 participants to walk and run, and it allows us to really spread out and celebrate our community and our patients and the work that our providers do every day. And there are many missions that we carry out in terms of patient care and teaching and research. So it's very important that we have additional funds that help us fund things that otherwise may not be paid for through the usual way of, patient care. So for research, for teaching, for the work that we do with our patients and providing them support in ways that sometimes we can't otherwise get funding.
Typically start planning, I would say about 8 months before the event. We launch registration about 3 to 4 months before the event and really push for 3 to 4 months straight to get people to register and fundraise and sort of give back for why they're participating. We have a lot of great stories on why people are participating. A lot of meaningful things that have impacted them personally, a family member, a friend.
My youngest daughter, Marin, she's 4 now. She was born with a form of dwarfism, achondroplasia. So when she was born, we were transferred to Tufts Hospital, and they took care of her, and she sees multiple specialists there that have taken care of her for the past 4 years. She's had surgeries there and follow-up visits and stuff. So this is our thank you to the hospital and the doctors for all the support she's given her.
The process was so simple that for people to not do this It's just crazy. It was a simple process. You register, you get your numbers. Getting here was a breeze, and it just gives an opportunity to be outside and be together with everyone.
I personally am doing the 5-mile run with my husband, my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, my remaining family, my two daughters, nieces, nephews. They're doing the 5-mile walk with my mom and mother-in-law.
This morning we have obviously registration and some announcements from our great partners at WKLB.
WKLB has been our media sponsor for the last several years. They've been very generous to us in terms of providing us some support here on site with radio personalities. And the Boston Herald has also been a great sponsor for us in terms of providing ads in the month of September. And we've had many other sponsors. Some will be here today, including Bertucci's and others.
The run kicks off at 9, the walk right after, about 9:05. We have 5 artists, local artists from the area that are out playing acoustic to just sort of give the event a little something different and tie it in with our country theme. After the walk run is over, we have a lunch sponsored by Bertucci's that is for all participants and their families. Then we have Alec McGilvery taking the stage at about 10 o'clock. And then we have Landco, formerly known as Lancaster and Company, taking the stage at 10:40. And they'll play till 11:40 with a meet and greet for our top fundraisers and participants after that.
So our providers have raised over the last several years about $3 million in total funds. So it's been a really great event for fundraising and contributing money back to research, patient care, and teaching.
I just hope they realize how much this means to the hospital, to the patients, to the families, the care that it enables the hospital to give everyone, and how much it matters to families like us.
To be in community is really what I hope people get out of it.
This is my first time here, and we're loving it already.
So many great things going on at Wampatuck. It is so important at this time of year to remember those who gave so much to this wonderful community we live in. Harold S. Goldstein was no exception. His work on both the HCAM and Hingham Library boards really helped pave the way for many great privileges we enjoy today. His humor and insight will be sorely missed.
So today we are having a memorial bench dedication for Hal Goldstein. He was one of the trustees at the library. He was a trustee since 1992, and he has been on the board since then. He has been a member of our finance committee, chair of our finance committee here, and he's just been a wonderful asset to the library and a big supporter of the library. So we came today to have this bench dedication to him and to speak a few kind words about him. Eric Dresser from HCAM contacted me because he was interested. Hal did a lot of work over at HCAM as well. He was on the board there and a big supporter of HCAM as well as the library. So we thought it would be great if we collaborated on, you know, some sort of way to memorialize him and his memory. So what we did was HCAM donated a bench to the library for both of us to honor his civic engagement with the town, and we decided to place it right in front of the library. So when people come in, they can see the bench and think of Hal and have a place to rest outside. The ceremony went very, very nicely today, but it is a frigid day, so it's one of those bitterly cold, windy days. We had originally planned to have the bench dedication outside by the bench, the unveiling, and saying a few words. And because of the temperature, we went outside and had Avis, Hal's wife, take the cover off the bench and the first seating of it. And then we came inside to the lobby area and had some words about Hal.
Ceremony went really well. I think it was simple and touching at the same time. Avis did a terrific job in making her remarks, and the folks from HCAM and the library were right on point with everything, and I think captured the essence of Hal.
I think that David's comment, David Mahegan, the chairman of the Board of Trustees, his comment was absolutely right on maybe not this morning, but on most mornings. People do like to sit and read, sit and reflect, or wait for somebody, and I'm a big fan of when I sit on benches in public areas to look and see who it was dedicated to, and sometimes I know the people, sometimes I don't, and I have to Google them to find out. So I think it's nice that the bench is just right for what Hal would have wanted in the library, to have somebody enjoying, in this case, a little bit of a rest, maybe in the beautiful sunshine, maybe reading a book.
There's a lot of things that I admired about Hal, but what I liked about Hal most of all was, first of all, his sense of humor. We laughed. I would sometimes call him at home, and I would get Avis, his wife, and she would pass me off to him, and before too many minutes would pass, we would be telling jokes. Not all of them, I have to say, were entirely appropriate for a general audience. But what I really liked about Hal, both professionally and personally, was his ability to think outside the box. He could step outside what I call the sort of the normative paradigm, you know, whatever we sort of operate with on a regular basis, and shake things up a bit.
Well, he, besides being on the board, he felt, as all of the members of the board do, that this is probably the gathering place for the entire community of Hingham. Parents come here, their children come here to study, to learn. Function rooms are rented out for different purposes. I mean, it just encompasses a broad scope and a broad base across the whole town of Hingham.
There's a lot of things you can say. You know, one is just, you know, be yourself, follow your passions. And, you know, for Hal, he gave so much back to this town in so many different ways, in so many different departments. And one of the things that is inspirational is just knowing the kind of person that you can be to give back to your community, and all the different ways in which you can do that and follow your passions. You know, things he was interested in, for instance, the library and HCAM. He got involved, he gave back, he didn't sit on the sidelines. He was very active and, you know, very loved and valued for that. So I think everybody in town could take a page from the book and, you know, just see what a great example he is, and what you can do to really follow the things that you love and make a difference in people's lives.
The bench being where it is, it'll keep Hal's memory in the forefront, and people will remember all the contributions that Hal made to the entire town, not just the library, although his heart was certainly in everything that the library did.
From all of us at HCAM, thank you, Hal. Speaking of dreams and determination as the result of hard work and collaboration on the part of the Farm Hills Civic Association and the town of Hingham, the need for a special needs playground in South Hingham has been met. Children and town officials gathered to celebrate this tremendous achievement. Let's go check it out for ourselves.
Today is the grand opening of the Kress Field Playground. This has been a dream come true for the Farm Hills Association up here in Upper Hingham, and the Recreation Commission has spent quite a lot of time planning and developing this idea. 2 years ago we went for the CPC grant, and we're also able to secure a state grant, making this dream come true. So here we are, ready to open the playground to the neighborhood and to those in Hingham and far and wide.
This community is overdue to give South Hingham a public playground. For many years, Kress Field really just had residential toys. We used to joke and say that Kress Field was the place where toys went to go die, where the basketball court was filled with 25 to 30 ride-along toys, which is nice, but it's also nice to be able to provide South Hingham with a true commercial-grade, high-quality playground. Two reasons which makes this playground so special. South Hingham was really in need of a public playground, and also every playground has to be handicap accessible, but not every playground adds true play value to handicap and special needs children, where we feel that this playground does.
The reason we took this special step in going that next stage to a special handicap play equipment is because of the accessibility of this area. There is absolutely perfect graded land here, so it's very wheelchair accessible. And again, the basketball court makes it perfect for that.
This playground has poured-in-place rubber pathways, which is extremely soft, and if a child is in a wheelchair, it is also a lot easier to roll than the wood chips. Some of the slides, in terms of tactile feel, the slides have rollers, so it adds a little bit more tactile feel to it. Some of our swings have backs to it rather than just an open swing.
Not only do they have an opportunity to feel, texture, hear sensory kind of play equipment, but the ability to climb, the ability to rock back and forth, all the areas that kids love to play with. I mean, there is something for everyone. I hope that you can see behind me this wonderful swing. It's sort of like a chaise lounge, I call it, or a hammock. And the opportunity to sit there with your child, or any size children. I mean, to me, children are anywhere from 0 to 99.
Extremely lucky to have a dedicated community in Farm Hills, tight-knit community, where they were able to get together, get the volunteers of 20+ people from 8 in the morning to about 5 p.m. on the Saturday afternoon in the fall, and literally worked all day, which saved the project close to $20,000. And because of that, we were able to put that money back into the play equipment to produce a better quality playground.
I feel as a recreation commissioner that every neighborhood in Hingham deserves to have a play area. As a grandmother now with 2 small grandchildren, I spend a lot of my time at playgrounds, and I enjoy every minute as much as I did when my son was a small child. So, you know, playgrounds are not just for little children, they're for all ages, and there's nothing better than having your children outside, enjoying the fresh air, getting away from the TV.
We're always looking for different community involvement, whether it's volunteer help or support of projects, and feel free to call me at 781-741-1464 or check out our website, hinghamrec.com.
I think that word of mouth is exactly how people will find out about it. We have at our grand opening today the chair of the SNAP committee, which is the Special Needs Athletic Program, and I know that he has been very active with his members and people who are part of that association to get the word out that this is a playground where those children can enjoy and feel just as happy as all children should be at a playground.
It's truly remarkable to see what can be accomplished when neighborhoods work together in terms of their support throughout the project.
Every part of this playground is prepared for special needs children, so we hope that not only those special children are able to enjoy this playground, but that their parents are able to meet other parents and socialize and get to know each other. So it's a very special thing for Hingham to have taken part in and to bring to our citizens here.
Looks like a great day at Hingham's newest playground. Our final stop today will be a safe one, and by that I mean all about safety. Arbella Insurance stopped by in style with their Distractology tour, a mobile classroom designed to give kids hands-on experience with the dangers of distracted driving through the use of virtual simulators. Children also observe statistical information on distracted driving, as well as taking surveys to determine the safety of their own driving habits.
Arbella Insurance, we're a big company in Massachusetts that handles different clients all over the New England area. Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and they have put together this unit that goes to different high schools and helps the students become better drivers. We have a mobile trailer and we have 2 simulators inside them, which we use to teach about safe driving. They learn not to use their cell phone because they may get into an accident very fast. Also radio, water bottle, different things involved that they can actually use while driving the simulator. So they also have to look out for different signs. They have to look out for other drivers, different things that they should be looking out for on the road. First they do a survey, only half of it. They pretty much tell us their driving habits. They fill out like their first name, their email. For the second part actually, because there's 2 parts. There's an online part after this. They ask them, check off if you text and drive, if you listen to music, if you eat and drink, if you dance while you drive, even changing the radio, just listen to music in general. So once they finish the first half, they sit down and they do about 40 minutes in total of practice, about 6 or 7 scenarios, and then they do another practice, kind of just shows them everything again. In between starting the next scenario, they have a screenshot of a stat, whether it's about teenagers their age or it's just about drivers in the US and just the amount of accidents that can happen. There's quite a few actually. There's about 6 or 7 that we show them throughout the whole appointment that they come in. And then they do the survey, they finish the survey. And that's pretty much it. It takes a good 45 minutes in total. Just surprise, shock, all those type of reactions. First of all, they don't expect to get into an accident. It may be a first time accident for some of them. And even though it's in a simulator, it may seem realistic to them. So that's why they sometimes yell, sometimes they scream even, you know, so they just all these different things, but in a positive way because they're not getting hurt or anything, but they actually see how fast an accident can happen. And in the end, they can take that with them in the real world. You know, some of them are quiet too. Even though inside they're like, okay, I just got into an accident, they may be a little shy to express it. And some of them are really pushing towards it afterward. They really feel like it's something that they should be telling other people, especially if they're in the car with them and then the parents texting and driving. We've actually had a pretty good amount of students since we've been here in the past. Yeah, we've had a couple repeats, but I mean, overall, a lot of new students, permit drivers and newly licensed drivers. Between some of them are sophomores, but most of them are juniors and seniors. We have them for the whole period normally, and we usually have them at a study hall. That's how it is actually at this school because they don't want them to miss any class. Typically 5 days a week is when we stay at a high school. We do actually use the information based on their age. The computers just anonymously records their age, if they have a permit or license, and then it records what they're doing, how often they crash, what they do in the scenarios. They use the information, give it to colleges so they can put it towards their stats. There's a lot of these scenarios, they're driving too fast, or they're just not thinking about their next move, or they're just, well, definitely distracted. They use a few scenarios with the distractions, like the cell phone, the radio. The whole point is for them to be a safer driver on the road. The whole point is that in order to be a safer driver, it takes patience, it takes concentration, focus. So all that is something that we hope that they get better at once they leave.
Hi, I'm Maddie. Hi, I'm Erin, and we're both juniors at NTA. And we just got out of Distractology and we learned some of the safety for driving. What I took out of it was the risk of looking down at just one text message, especially on the highway. You can swerve into another lane really easily, as I learned the hard way. Yes, and same thing with the radio on the highway. You're going really fast and you don't want to have to look down and keep switching your view because then that can come into a very fatal situation. We were glad that we took a lot of this opportunity and we hope you can learn about driving safely like we did. And we hope that distractions don't take you away from your road.
Who would have thought safety could be so much fun? Well, that's all for this month. Tune in next time for another exciting episode of Hingham Happenings. If you have any suggestions for future episode, please email us at hinghamhappenings@hinghammedia.org. Thanks so much for watching.